Welcome back to the YouTube channel. We're back at it again. Today we're going to be reacting to Donald Trump's speech at Mar-a-Lago. I think some things he said regarding Greenland and stuff is here, so we'll see how this works out.
Exciting, very exciting for our country. And we're honored to welcome one of the most respected business leaders in the Middle East, indeed the world.
I'm gonna skip.
He's a founder and chairman of Damac Properties, Hussein Sajwani, very respected gentleman. And I'm thrilled to announce today that Damac will be investing at least $20 billion over a very short period of time into the United States, and they may go double or even somewhat more than double that amount of money. It's a great thing, and I believe he will say that he's doing it because of the fact that he was very inspired by the election. They wouldn't do it without that election. I can tell you a lot of people wouldn't. You saw last week where we have somebody who's going to go from 100 to $200 billion, and we have many other people, and we'll be bringing some of them out.
So the guy he's talking about that's going to invest 20 billion, apparently he's going to invest 20 billion into data centers in the United States. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, what are these data centers used for? I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird situation, but that's what he's referring to.
Some of them like to do it somewhat more quietly, and some don't, and they feel so strongly about the country that they want to let people know about it. But it's an honor to have such a great investor investing in our country. The investment will support massive new data centers across the Midwest, the Sunbelt area, and also to keep America on the cutting edge of technology and artificial intelligence. He's very big into the data centers, and that's going to be a very hot item in the coming years, as you know, with AI.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just curious to like what these data centers are used for. Is he saying he said it's used maybe? I mean, Donald Trump doesn't know what a lot of things are, what a lot of things do. So I can't really trust his explanation on this. But if a report comes out and he explains like what the data centers are used for, I'll be interested. But also at the same time, are the data centers being made coming from Saudi Arabia, or are the data centers being made in the United States, funded by the guy from Saudi Arabia? If it's the second one, cool with it.
In particular, the first phase of the project will be in Texas, Arizona, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Ohio, Illinois, Michigan, and Indiana, those places. And Hussein, I'd love you to come up and say a few words. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, perfect. Sounds like
Thank you, Mr.
Republican
President.
areas that
It's been amazing news for me and my family when he was elected in November. We've been waiting 4 years to increase our investments in U.S. to a very large amount of money. We are a company operating in more than 20 countries around the world. We have delivered more than 45,000 luxury units.
So, okay, his product is being put in the United States. I don't know how I feel about this. Is it no different from military contracting? Or is it the same principle? How do we feel about the idea that Donald Trump has this relationship with this billionaire, and he's allowing this billionaire to put his data centers in America? I would have to know more. I just would have to.
And another 45,000 in the pipeline. In data center, we are in 10 countries around the world, in Asia, Europe, and Middle East. And we're very, very excited now with his leadership and his open strategy and policy to encourage businesses to come to U.S. For the last 4 years, we've been waiting for this moment. And we're planning to invest $20 billion, and even more than that if the opportunity, the market allow us. But at the moment, we're planning $20 billion in data center, catering for the AI and cloud business for the hyperscalers.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Mr.
Great
President.
honor. Thank you very much. So nice.
Interesting.
And that man knows what he's doing. He knows. So, Hussein, we're going to work with you and make sure everything goes smoothly. We have powers that haven't really been used in terms of environmental. If you invest over $1 billion in the United States, we're going to give expedited reviews to everybody because everyone's afraid they're going to come in and get caught in the quagmire, which is very prevalent in the United States, unfortunately, the quagmire of environmental and various other regulations and rules. And I made it a point of telling people if you invest $1 billion or more, and we'll do this for people with far less too, but we guarantee it, we're going to move them quickly through the environmental process. Sometimes people are held up.
Donald Trump really does not care about the environment. Like, I would have to really, let's say case by case in regards to environmental regulations that need to be improved or removed, and we can talk. Because overarching ideas, too much regulation could be overkill and not a net positive for America, but no regulations could destroy our environment and the health of the planet. So
12, 13, 14, 15 years. I saw it with plants in Louisiana where I got it approved in literally a week. They were through the review in 1 week after spending 14 and a half years trying to get it, and they were going nowhere. It was a terrible thing. So I've been a victim of that myself over the years, and I think I know all the games and all the tricks that are played, and much of it is.
So a lot of it is because he has to deal with it. Like he's obviously exposing himself every time he talks. You just got to catch it. But his issue with the environmental regulations because he has to deal with it as a billionaire millionaire. So okay, I get it now.
Just done to stop progress. So we're going to be helping you and everybody else that comes to the United States and wants to invest their money, that you don't get tied up for the rest of your life and you can't do anything. This commitment further underscores that many of the greatest business leaders on earth are seeing a very bright economic future for America since the election. As you know, a lot of positive things have happened. We are inheriting a difficult situation from the outgoing administration, and they're trying everything they can to make it more difficult. Inflation is continuing to rage, and interest rates are far too high. And I've been disappointed to see the Biden administration's attempt to block the reforms of the American people and that they voted for. We had a landslide election. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of people. Nobody even knows how many people, millions. And they're still counting in some areas. You know this.
The popular vote discrepancy was not that big. He's overreacting. Okay.
They're still counting the vote in some areas. Can you believe this? What a place. What a horrible place. One of the things we're going to do is we've got to fix the election so that we get honest counts and they get done by 10 o'clock in the evening or something thereabouts. There are places where they're still counting votes. President Biden's actions yesterday on offshore drilling, banning offshore drilling, will not stand. I will reverse it immediately. It'll be done immediately. And we will drill, baby, drill. And we're going to be drilling in a lot of other locations. And the energy costs are going to come way down. They'll be brought down to a very low level. And that's going to bring everything else down. That's what caused it to go up, along with the ridiculous spending on the Green New scam.
So Joe Biden's offshore drilling plan or ban is apparently protecting like 635 million acres of land getting drilled into the coast. So, yeah. It's like, how much do you care about the environment? I mean, that's the big thing in that situation.
All this money, trillions of dollars, it's like throwing it right out the window what they're doing. And they're trying to spend so much now, they're just taking money and giving it to anybody that wants it for any project at all if it's certified under the Green New scam. And they don't work, and it's too expensive.
Green New scam,
and
I don't know what he's talking about.
They told me that we're going to do everything possible to make this transition to the new administration very smooth. It's not smooth because they're doing that. They're playing with the courts, as you know. They've been playing with the courts for 4 years, probably got me more votes because I got the highest number of votes ever gotten by a Republican, by far, actually, by a lot. And
when he says these hyperbolic statements of a lot, all that stuff, just assume he's lying. Just assume he's lying. It's not like, if I fact check him every time he says this stuff, you will get bored. Just assume he's lying. He's just one of those type of individuals.
We had a great election, so I guess it didn't work. But even to this day, they're playing with the courts. They have their friendly judges that like to try and make everybody happy on the Democrat side. It's called lawfare. It's called weaponization of justice, and it's happened at a level nobody's ever seen before. So many. I defeated deranged Jack Smith. He's a deranged individual. I guess he's on his way back to.
He did not defeat Jack Smith. He's just chatting. What happened is Jack Smith dropped the case because of potential immunity, so he thought it was a waste of time. So he's continuing the case on his co-defendants because there's a lot of issues going on there. And apparently a district court appointed by Trump is potentially temporarily blocking that report for being revealed to the public because of it will do irreparable harm, is his claim.
To The Hague, and we won those cases. Those were the biggest ones. And the press made such a big deal out of them. We did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong on anything. And the people saw that. When they vote, when a Republican, it's not easy for a Republican. When the Republican wins the popular vote by millions and wins all 7 of the swing states, people said, well, he could win 4. We won all 7, and we won them by a lot. That tells you we won. And they've been watching this injustice. I call it the Injustice Department. What they've done is so bad. The whole world has watched that. And it took work, but it got me a lot of votes because when explained, we have a judge in New York who's a very crooked judge. I'm under a gag order. I can't even talk about aspects of the case that are the most vital aspects. I'm under a gag. Do you know that I'm the president-elect of the United States of America? I'm a former, very successful president. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We had borders that were sealed and beautiful. Everything was good. We had no wars.
A lot of lies.
We defeated ISIS. We had no wars. Now I'm going into a world that's burning with Russia and Ukraine, with Israel. You took a look at that attack on October 7th, the attack on Israel, with the horrible way they got out. Not the fact that they got out. I would have been out before them. but we would have been out of Afghanistan with dignity and strength as opposed to looking like a bunch of fools with 13 dead and many, many badly, horrifically injured. Nobody ever talks about them. No arms, no legs. Nobody ever talks about them. The way they got out was outrageous, leaving billions of dollars of brand new military equipment that I bought in the hands of the Afghans and specifically the Taliban. It's the group. And we were doing very well. We would have been out. We would have been respected. I think it's one of the reasons it was so badly handled, that withdrawal, where people are jumping onto airplanes, falling off.
It's so easy to say he just did this bad, and I would hypothetically do it better in this world that will never exist. But let's move on.
People in the middle. I said to a general, how do 5,000 people do in that case? And the general just looked at me and said, not well, sir, not well. And I took him out. And you know what happened? Nothing. I got criticized. I saved 5,000 lives, actually. And we did a great job, and we're going to do an even better job because now we have a tremendous amount of experience. We have people that I can rely on. But the 625 million acres, people can't realize, it's like the whole ocean. Take an acre. You know, an acre, you have a house on a half an acre, on a quarter of an acre, or an acre. If you have an acre, you have a big deal. Now you multiply that by 625 million acres. It's like, feels like the whole ocean. And that's our strength, you know?
Okay.
People can say we manufacture, we don't manufacture. The thing we have oil and gas more than anybody in the world. We're going to have more of it, too. But they took away 625 million acres of offshore drilling.
Yeah.
Nobody else does that. And they think they have it, but we'll put.
Everybody else doesn't drill everywhere that exists. I mean, Donald Trump just doesn't care. And that's, I guess, up to you. Whether or not, if you don't care about the environment, you don't care about the environment. So, I mean, it is what it is. I can't make you care about other aspects, regardless of the rationale I gave. Unless it personally affects you, which you can argue in terms of water, in terms of marine life, which is food, in terms of that damaging the soil. Like, unless I kind of break it down that way, you may care. He also said something, but I forgot. We'll move
Put it back.
on.
I'm going to put it back on day one. I'm going to have it revoked on day one. We'll go immediately if we need to. I don't
You're
think we should have to
repeating
go to the
yourself,
courts, but if we do
Trump.
have to go to the courts, you know, they try to be sneaky. Spending everything they had, money, we were helping them out. We had to. They were subpoenaing people that had no idea what they were even talking about. That's a sick group of people. And it was all to influence the election. It was all a fight against a political opponent. We've never had that in this country. We have had that in certain countries. Influence the election. It was all a.
What are you talking about?
I mean, Jack Smith had cases all over the place. People were being subpoenaed. Lives were being ruined. They were spending everything they had, money. We were helping them out. We had to. They were subpoenaing people that had no idea what they were even talking about. That's a sick group of people. And it was all
He's
to
lying.
influence the election. It was all a fight against a political opponent. We've never had that in this country. We have had that in.
I mean, we haven't had people refuse to give up classified documents after you're not president. So, you know, and when they are asked, hey, return those documents, they typically do return those documents. But
certain countries, we've had that in third-tier countries. We've had that in, you know, the left, as we call them, the radical left. They have a way. They play the ref, and they play it very hard. They play the ref. They go and say horrible things about judges and prosecutors. And some judges and prosecutors say, look, the only way I'm going to get these people off my back is to give victory to them. They're playing the ref. I think it's illegal what they do. It's almost like talking. It's worse than talking.
You literally do. Oh my God, Donald Trump does the same thing. I can't move.
To a judge. But what we're up against, so they say we're going to have a smooth transition. All they do is talk. It's all talk. Everything they do is talk. We're going to have a smooth transition, and then they take 625 million acres, and they essentially landmark it so you can't ever drill there again. $1 billion. That's more than our national debt. Essentially, he's thrown it away. He's thrown it away. He's taken $50 trillion. So if we owe $35 trillion, he's taken $50 trillion of.
Okay, what is he talking about here?
So that's what we're up against. So they say we're going to have a smooth transition. All they do is talk. It's on a map and put this up. It's just massive. And remember that that's worth probably, I mean, I've had estimates, $40 to $50 trillion. That's more than our national debt. Essentially, he's thrown it away. He's thrown it away. He's taken.
Smart way, saying we could eliminate $50 million, which is a number you probably just made up, if we're allowed to drill in these areas. That would help our national debt. It's a very smart strategy. Very smart.
$50 trillion. And we don't have enough electricity. And then we have AI where we need more. And he wants everybody to have an electric heater instead of a gas heater. Gas heater is much less expensive. The heat is much better. It's a much better heat. As the expression goes, you don't itch. Does anybody have a heater where you go and you're scratching? And that's what they want you to have. They don't want you to have gas where you don't have the problems of the electric.
Yeah, that's a lie. Let's move.
And they want to do no water comes out of the shower. It goes drip, drip, drip. So what happens? You're in the shower 10 times as long, you know. No water comes out of the faucet. You want to wash your hands. They want to go back to even stronger than what they have right now. As you know, I ended that policy. You can have all the water you want. Makes no difference. It comes. Especially in certain areas, we have so much water, we don't know what to do with it. Times instead of once.
Donald Trump
You end up
should
using
be
more water.
chatting.
We're a
Oh
party
my
of common
God,
sense,
he's
and
just
things that I'm
chatting.
telling you now is really all about common sense. On January 20th, we'll turn the economy around very quickly, because right now when I think of our economy, I think about inflation. That's what we have. We have inflation, I believe, at a
He was about to say we are at a certain number, and then he changed his mind because he realized we're the #1 economy in the world. So
level that we never had before. There's never been anything like it. And over the next 4 years, the United States is going to take off like a rocket ship. But really, it's already doing it. If you take a look, just last month, SoftBank announced the $200 billion. I think it'll be 200. He said between 100, and I said, how about making it 200? And he sort of said yes. But let's say it's 100, but it might be 200, right, Brian? Dollars, United States creating more than 100,000 jobs. Hussein just announced a tremendous investment that he's going to make, and that's money that's in the bank. He's going to come and do it, and he'll do a great job, and he'll build the best centers in the country, I guarantee, because I know the way he builds. Since my election, the stock market has set records. The S&P.
he said that the money is going to be in the banks. He's putting money in to create data centers. What money is going to be in the banks? What is he talking about? Data centers that we got to vet properly. I'm not going to lie. Just this guy just wanting to put data centers in our country like that. I don't know how I feel about that.
500 index has broken above 6,000 points for the first time ever, never even close. In a single month, small business optimism soared 41 points. It's not a 41. It went up 41 points.
So Donald Trump is trying to take credit for all the things that Joe Biden is doing right now. I respect it. Hey, I got elected even though I'm not officially in office and I'm not doing anything. All the good stuff happening recently is still because of me. Okay.
And that's the largest in the 39-year history of the group that does it. According to Gallup, the American people's confidence in the economy has just surged to the highest level in history. That's why I have a news conference like that. I take the greatest business leaders in the world. I say, hey, do you want to say you're going to invest the money? They're not looking for news conferences. They're saying, what am I doing here? They go in and they invest money, but it's good to... Jimmy Carter gave it to them for $1, and they were supposed to treat us well. I thought it was a terrible thing to do. It was the most expensive structure ever built in the history of our country, relatively. It would be the equivalent of substantially over $1 trillion today. We lost 38,000 people. Think of it, 38,000 people, they died from malaria, mosquitoes. They were unable to stop the mosquitoes. They paid people 5 times more to take the job. Many of those people died. We gave it away for $1. But the deal was that, they have to treat us fairly. They don't treat us fairly. They charge more for our ships than they charge for ships of other countries. They charge more for our Navy than they charge for navies of other countries. They laugh at us because they think we're stupid, but we're not stupid anymore. So the Panama Canal is under discussion with them right now. They violated every aspect of the...
I always talk about the Panama Canal. He's really, really trying to take the Panama Canal. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
The agreement, and they morally violated it also. And they want our help because it's leaking and not in good repair. And they want us to give $3 billion to help fix it. I said, well, why don't you get the money from China? Because China's basically taken it over. China's at both ends of the Panama Canal. China's running the Panama Canal. And they come to see this Biden, this guy who should never have been allowed even to run for...
Oh my, so Donald Trump is so creative in doing this. The way he manipulates people is so creative. He's blaming China. That's the easy one. It's either immigrants or China. China has control of everything he dislikes, so that's why he's going to remove himself or treat it as an enemy. He just says China. Because nobody knows anything about the Panama Canal. I don't even know a lot about the Panama Canal. I'd have to do some research. So it's so easy. Most people are just going to believe you. So China's the enemy. China has control of the Panama Canal. And we got to take it back from China. Wow.
President. Of course, he shouldn't have either, because that never happened. It had to be 2 people, not 1. But they want $3 billion to fix the Panama Canal that's run by China and makes a lot of money, China. One of the most profitable structures ever built, because you have ships lined up back to Florida, frankly, and they just keep going through. And the numbers are staggering, $500,000 to $1 million a ship. And they took it away from us, meaning we gave it to them for $1. But not going to happen. What they've done to us, they've charged us, they've overcharged our ships, overcharged our Navy. And then when they need repair money, they come to the United States to put it up. We get nothing. Those days are over. Working with the Republican majorities in Congress, we'll cut taxes, slash regulations, raise wages, and boost incomes at a pace the world has not seen before, and certainly not from our country.
Can't wait to see it.
We had a big chunk of it for the first 3 years prior to COVID coming in my administration. We had the greatest economy in history. We cut the most regulations in the history of our country, and I did that all in 4 years.
Obama.
By 4 times more than any other president cut. We did that in 4 years.
That's not a good thing.
And we were just getting started. We'll impose new
A
tariffs
lot
so
of
that
his-
the products on our stores will once again be stamped with those beautiful words, made in the USA. And we are not treated well, as you know, by Canada. Canada is
All right, time to talk about Canada, another enemy. Also, don't get it twisted. Donald Trump has companies that manufacture goods outside of the United States, so don't be confused. It's so he does not practice what he preaches.
subsidized to the tune of about $200 billion a year, plus other things. They don't essentially have a military. They have a very small military. They rely on our military. It's all fine, but, you know, they got to pay for that. It's very unfair. I have so many great friends. One of them is the great one, Wayne Gretzky. I said, run for prime minister. You'll win it'll take 2 seconds. But he said, well, am I going to run for prime minister or governor? You tell me. I said, I don't know. Let's make it governor. I like it better. But no, something's going to have to be done. Same thing with Mexico. We have a massive deficit with Mexico, and we help Mexico a lot. They're essentially run by the cartels. And can't let that happen. Mexico's really in trouble, a lot of trouble. Very dangerous place.
So Mexico is problematic. They're run by the cartels, and Canada is problematic as well. Wow, great job so far.
And we're going to be announcing a future date pretty soon. We're going to change, because we do most of the work there, and it's ours. We're going to be changing, sort of the opposite of Biden, where he's closing everything up, essentially getting rid of $50 to $60 trillion worth of assets. We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. And it's appropriate. It's appropriate. And Mexico has to stop allowing millions of people to pour into our country. They can stop them. And we're going to put very serious tariffs on Mexico.
He's going to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Based.
Mexico and Canada, because Canada, they come through Canada too, and the drugs that are coming through are at record numbers. So we're going to make up for that by putting tariffs on Mexico and Canada, substantial tariffs. And we want to get along with everybody, but you know, they have to. It takes two to tango. We're approaching.
I want to get along with everybody as long as they listen to me and follow me and fall in line and let the United States control everything. Okay.
The dawn of America's golden age. It's going to be a golden age for America. We have things that nobody else has. We have more natural resources. We have number one. Nobody knew that until I came along. I made us number one. We were number three. I made us number one in a very short period of time in drilling. And you know, you can talk about windmills. They litter our country. They're littered all over our country, like dropping.
He hates windmills. He wants to drill, but windmills, screw the bro. Yo, bro, he's so
Paper,
extreme.
like dropping garbage in a field, and that's what happens to them, because in a period of time they turn to garbage. Most expensive energy ever. They only work if you get subsidy. The only people that want them are the people that are getting rich off windmills, getting massive subsidies from the U.S. government, and it's the most.
Yeah, but the people getting rich off of oil, who cares? People getting rich off of windmills, yeah, they're the problem.
Expensive energy there is. It's many, many times more expensive than clean natural gas. So we're going to try and have a policy where no windmills are being built. You know, off the coast of New Jersey, they want to build like 200 windmills. The people are going crazy. Nobody wants them, and they're very.
They're expensive, yeah, because they're renewable. It's renewable energy, which in the long run is a net positive for something that is lasting for humans. Like,
expensive. They don't work without subsidy. You don't want energy that needs subsidy. Energy is a good business. You don't need subsidy. But when you build these massive towers, and they're 25 stories tall, 40 stories, they have 170 stories tall. The blades, they take 3 ships to ship them. It's crazy. They're dangerous. You see what's happening up in the Massachusetts area with the whales, where they had 2 whales wash ashore in, I think, a 17-year period. And now they had 14 this season. The windmills are driving the whales crazy.
so the windmills are problematic for whales. But all your drilling isn't? Your offshore drilling isn't? Yo, make it make sense. Please tell me. Please tell me.
Obviously. And they had actually
Please tell
over,
me.
I think, 125 or something over a number of years.
All
over a number of
the
years, and
climate
we don't want
change
that to happen.
regulations
It's a
you wanna
disaster.
get rid of,
It's
not-
amazing
not
the way a true
dangerous.
environmentalist would say, oh, we love wind. It sounds good, but that's about where it ends. You know, after 10 years, you have to redo them. And what happens is they don't do that. They let them stand and they rust, and they say, because of the environment, I'm not a believer in this, but they say you can't, because it's a certain fiberglass, that the blades cannot be buried in earth, that's an environment. So what do you do with them? What do you do with them? And I don't know if you've ever gone
I don't believe anything he's saying right now. Because like I said, Donald Trump by default is a
to Palm
liar.
Springs, California, any of these places where you have long-term windmills standing. They're a disaster. They're rusting, rotting, closed, falling down. This is as you enter Palm Springs. And they put new ones next to them because nobody wants to take them down, because why should they take them down? It's very expensive to take them down. And you can't do anything with them because the blades, you can't bury them because of the environmental protection. We'll look at that. Doesn't make sense, but that's what they say. So we are at the beginning of a great, beautiful golden age of business. And I think we're also at a golden age of common sense, because everything I'm saying to you, from a simple water faucet that doesn't allow water to come out appropriately, to all of the other elements of what we do and what we're going to do, to take $50 to $60 trillion off our country's balance sheet because some man that has no idea what he's doing, he has no idea. You know it, I know it, the Democrats know it. What they did is a crime by allowing that to happen. And I'll bet you, if you asked him today, how much acreage did you submit? Essentially, did you destroy? You destroyed the economic viability of drilling in the ocean. And with AI coming along and all, you know, a lot of people don't realize that
What did you just say there? He did what?
AI is going to be a big thing, but you'll need double the electricity at least that we have right now. So right now we produce electricity for many, many different things. AI is a very big deal in terms of the future.
So he says the only way we can, you know, produce enough energy for AI and the data centers that we're getting because of his billionaire friend is by drilling oil. Smart, man. That's smart manipulation, man. You make it so easy to understand for people. Like, I respect how Donald Trump is able to kind of manipulate people with his rhetoric.
Future. China is already building electric facilities, big, bold electric facilities.
And then
you know
bringing China to bring it home that our enemies are doing it more than us. Like,
they're being fired up with coal. They're being fired up with coal. And we're going to build bigger and better ones. People like Hussein that are doing the same thing as he is. I bet they don't do it as well because I know how he does it, but they're doing a lot of things. The problem is they can't get their permits because I say build the plant with the building. So with the structure, build the plant, because if you're going to grid, the grids are old. So they said, that's a great idea. In other words, build your electric facility alongside of your plant. And you could have extra output if you want, because once you build it, you can make it larger pretty inexpensively. You could have extra output, which you'll sell to the public, but build it with the plant, and people are loving that idea. So we're going to have a lot of fun making America great again, and it's going to happen, I think, very, very quickly. It's already happened. So I would say this, and this has been pretty openly reported by the news. There's never been anything like what's happened since we won the election, a couple of months since we won the election. The whole perception of the whole world is different. People from other countries have called me. They said, thank you, thank you. The perception of the whole world is different. We're going to have to settle some big. So thank you all for coming. We'll take a couple of questions. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
President, thank you. I wanted to touch on the world on fire that you mentioned, but let's start, if we could, with your references to Greenland and the Panama Canal, so forth. Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your plan is? Are you going to negotiate a new treaty? Are you going to ask the Canadians to hold the vote? What is the strategy?
Yeah, I can't assure you. You're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those.